U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland's appointment of a special counsel to investigate President Biden's handling of classified documents literally continues to roil Washington, D.C. And many are, in fact, asking if there's a double standard that exists when you compare the treatment now to that of former President Trump. Republicans have certainly vowed to launch investigations, even as special counsel Robert Hur begins his own work on the matter.
A lot of political wrongdoing does not necessarily result in a crime, but it's still wrong. And the public needs to understand exactly what happened.
That was Senator Ron Johnson yesterday on NBC's Meet the Press, expressing his support for Congress to have access to all the information so that they can do their job of oversight. So what can we anticipate next? Well, joining me now to discuss this and more is U.S. Representative Bob Good. He served on the House Committee on Education and Labor, as well as the House Budget Committee. He represents the 5th Congressional District of Virginia. Congressman Good, welcome back to Washington Watch, my friends. Great to have you with us.
Great to be with you, Jody. Great to see you by video. Congratulations on your new assignment, my friend.
Well, thank you so much. Listen, let's get into this. As we all know, another cache of classified documents have turned up at the president's Delaware home over the weekend. What's your initial reactions to all of that?
Well, it's incredible, Jody, that this was discovered before the election. And of course, we wait 2 months to find out because of a CBS report that this has happened. There's a lot that we don't know, except we continue to find, as you said, caches of information and top secret, even, we're told, documents that have been taken home by the previous vice president with no authority to do that, no authority to declassify that, of course. And there's a lot that we don't know. We're not getting answers on. Why were his lawyers the ones that were finding this information, these documents? Is this a residence that Hunter Biden resided at while these classified documents were there? We know how compromised he is with our foreign adversaries. So there's so much that we don't know. And of course, the Democrats say it's different just because Donald Trump is bad and Joe Biden is good, and Donald Trump, meant it for nefarious purposes, and Joe Biden didn't. We're supposed to accept that at face value. But I'm thankful that a lot of public pressure was applied to Merrick Garland for him to appoint the special counsel, as you noted.
Yeah, you bring up a great point there. There appears to be a significant double standard in the response to President Biden's handling of classified documents versus the former President Trump, how he was treated. Would you agree with that there's a double standard? What do you think's going on here?
Just the fact that we didn't have an early morning raid of President Biden's home with 30 FBI agents. Here you had President Trump, who had Secret Service guarding his home. His documents were secure as they could possibly be at a private residence. He has obviously the authority as the former president to declassify information, had that authority. He was working to release what the government was interested in getting back. Totally different than the way that this has leaked out drip by drip by drip on the Biden fiasco here. And time will only tell what is among those top secret documents. Jody, if there was anything really concerning about what they've discovered at President Trump's home, then we would know about it. And of course, there's been no reporting about the contents of the documents that were recovered from President Trump's home that he would have willingly surrendered, was in the process of doing so without the theater of this raid. Very different treatment for Joe Biden.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The theater of the raid, I think, is a perfect description of what took place. And as you said, absolutely nothing has come out of what those classified documents consisted of. And now we have the White House press secretary continuing to claim that the administration has been and continues to be transparent. But all the while, she continues to dodge every question and even repeat the same lines over and over. And I'm struck by the fact that even much of the legacy media no longer is ignoring any of this. In fact, here's what CNN political commentator Scott Jennings said yesterday on CNN's State of the Union.
Yeah, I agree that they're appear to be cooperating now, but that's because they have no choice. They got caught. What they're not being is transparent. And every day they run the White House press secretary out there to tell us they're being transparent, that it's been completed, whatever. And then the next day we find out something else. This is totally politically neutralized this, and everybody knows it.
That's stunning to me, Congressman Good. I mean, when you have CNN reporters saying that this administration is not being transparent, that is really shocking to listen to. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this administration, especially the spokesperson who's clearly unqualified, just continue to embarrass themselves with the way that they're trying to handle this. The timing of it is interesting. You wonder if it is time where the Democrat Party, the Democrat establishment, their compliant media is finally decided they don't want Joe Biden going into the 24 election. He's obviously diminished. Is it more concerning that he literally doesn't know what's in his possession? He's forgotten. It took him 50 years in government to find the southern border. Is it surprising that it would take him a while to find classified documents in his home? Is that supposed to be comforting that he didn't know, or is he just being dishonest that he did know about it? But think how much more diminished he will be 2 years from now. So perhaps the compliant media, the Democrat establishment is finally ready to jettison him from the ticket, and they don't want him to be the nominee, and that's why this information is coming out now.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Well, if I can transition just a little bit, today, of course, is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, but it is also Religious Freedom Day. And it's coming at a time when so many of our religious institutions are under attack. So just generally speaking, what are your thoughts as we come to this day of Religious Freedom Day?
Well, appreciate the way that FRC is on the front lines there, Jody, and fighting the fight for religious freedom here in America and around the world. That is arguably the most precious of freedoms. That's why it's in our First Amendment protections, the freedom of speech and the freedom of religion. For most people of faith, their most important thing is their faith and their ability to worship freely, to express that freely. And here in America, never in the history of the world has a country evangelized more people, ministered to more people, fed more people, rescued more people, promoted religious freedom around the globe like the United States. But it's under assault like never before under this Biden administration. As you know, we're fighting it every day on the House floor. We're fighting it across the country. And so what better thing to recognize than the importance of religious freedom?
Well, it really is. And you really mentioned some of the heartbeat, the epicenter, if you will, for religious freedom is being able to express those beliefs out in the public square. But I was kind of shocked. I don't know if you saw or heard this, but a video message that was released on social media in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. But Vice President Kamala Harris essentially listed abortions as among the core things that people should have. In addition to freedom to assemble or freedom to worship or freedom to vote, she made abortions part of it. Listen to this.
Let us continue to protect and strengthen our most sacred freedoms, the freedom to organize, the freedom to worship, the freedom to make decisions about one's own body, and the freedom that unlocks all the others, the freedom to vote.
Wow. So the freedom to have abortion, according to Vice President Kamala Harris, is part of the First Amendment. I mean, come on. Congressman Good, what do you think about that?
Well, the Democrat Party, sadly today, it's not our parents' and our grandparents' Democrat Party. As you know, it's the party of death, the party that celebrates abortion, doesn't even want to recognize that you ought to have to save a baby who survives an abortion attempt. As you know, we got one Democrat to vote for that in the House last week when we had the Born Alive Protection Act. We only had 3 Democrats vote to condemn violence against crisis pregnancy centers. It's really incredible where they've went so extreme on that, Jody, where they essentially want more abortions anytime, any reason, and you have to pay for it with your taxpayer dollars to pay for their abortions. They want to promote abortion and around the globe. They want to fund abortion around the globe. At the same time as they don't believe in bodily freedom, if you will, if your decision on whether or not to receive a vaccine that you may not want or you may not need, but they certainly trumpet as freedom the ability to kill an innocent, precious life in the womb.
Is it surprising to you that so few Democrats, virtually none, I believe you said one, voted for Born Alive, to protect a baby that's actually born alive after a botched abortion, and Democrats unwilling for the most part, except for a few, to stand up for churches that have experienced violence? Is this surprising to you?
It's not, Jody, because as you know, I'm from Virginia, where our own governor just 3 or 4 years ago said on a radio broadcast, and this is a pediatrician, thankfully former Governor Ralph Northam said on a broadcast, as you know, that if a baby survives an abortion attempt, the mother and the doctor should have a conversation while they, quote, keep the baby comfortable and decide what to do with it. And we had no Democrats criticize him for saying that. No Democrats at all, because again, they don't believe that, they don't even want to recognize that abortion is wrong at any time for any reason, that there's any moral component to it. They just want to fund more of it. They want to celebrate it. They want to spread it across the globe. They want to punish you if you stand against abortion or you stand for life.
Congressman, I've got to run. But listen, Congressman Bob Good, thank you for joining us on Washington Watch. Great to have you.
Be with you, Jody.